Good morning, or afternoon. Sorry, it's morning here, so I keep forgetting that not everyone is going to see this in the morning. But welcome to J&J Shoptalk, episode 9. I'm Jared.
I'm John.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking?
It's coffee.
Because it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Tigascoya Brewing Company's General Sherman IPA, based out of Fresno, California.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad. One of the better ones that they do. It's pretty hoppy though. If you don't like IPAs, I wouldn't recommend it. But or if you I take that back. If you're an IPA snob, I don't recommend it.
Mm.
But if you are interested in getting into IPAs, it's very hoppy. Be forewarned. That's all.
We are both smoking Exhausted Rooster by Cornell and Deal. We found or I should say, John found a 5-year-old tin of this in a local shop, and it had aged enough to where it was nice and mellow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been one of our favorites.
Indeed. This is only about 6 or 7 months old, but it's still quite nice. And one of the reasons it's particularly nice is this pipe.
This is a prototype, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
We just made some tooling so that this was possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reverse calabash.
Mm-hmm. Which it's kind of one of the more modern renditions of what used to be called the calabash, or still is called the calabash, made famous by the British Sherlock Holmes series. Even though you always point out that Sherlock Holmes never smoked
He
that
never
pipe.
did. It was always his clay or his cherry wood.
Mm-hmm. Or opium.
Well,
So-
everybody has a thing, you know. Everybody has vices.
So, what it was is they used to grow the gourd into the shape of the big pipe. And if you want a really nice classic, it should have been made famous by Inglourious Bastards, the movie. The epic scene with the German whips out this big old pipe and starts smoking it. So that's what we're talking about. They grow the gourd, they manipulate it in the growth to grow into that shape, and then they put this big meerschaum cap on top. And other people have done briar renditions of that, making this big briar pipe with a briar cap with accents and whatnot. And very beautiful.
Yeah.
The point behind it is...
Yes, the point behind it is it's hollow. The gourd is hollow, and the briar versions of it are also hollow. And so what happens is the smoke passes from the tobacco chamber into the body of the pipe, and when it goes into a larger space, it expands and cools. And so by the time it reaches your mouth, it has less moisture content, and it has a lower temperature.
Mm-hmm.
The effects are noticeable but small. This is not a miracle product.
Right.
It doesn't correct any bad smoking habits. In fact, it actually punishes smoking habits because it can make you think that the smoke is really cool, so you can smoke hotter,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't tell that the actual tobacco bowl is burning much hotter than it normally would on a normally drilled pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have to be more careful.
Yeah, I'd say.
So-
I would yeah. And this is a reverse calabash, which
Right.
at least you can still feel the bowl and know how hot it is.
Mhm.
But it has a big chamber in the shank of the pipe between the stem and the tobacco chamber. And so it goes into that cavity and cools, and then you smoke it. So, similar result. It's debatable on whether or not the calabash is better. I think it kind of is because it's a much larger cavity.
Mhm.
But according to Luca at neatpipes.com in Italy, he says the best reverse calabash is where the rear chamber is the same size as the tobacco chamber.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
something to think about.
I believe him.
I do too.
So that's the concept of a calabash or a
And the reverse calabash.
reverse calabash. We also wanted to talk about making your own pipe. We had a comment a few weeks ago about making pipes without any tools or, from scratch, kind of, I've never done this before. How do I do it?
Yeah.
You have to have tools
Yeah, of
of
some
some kind. Even if it's just a file and you take 3 weeks to do it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's fine. That's more power to you. If you
Mhm.
want some power tools, you can pick those up on Craigslist or
Mm-hmm.
Harbor Freight or some thing, but you don't really need to do any more than buy a pipe kit.
Mm-hmm. Which you can get at VermontFreehand.com.
Steve Norse.
Steve Norse runs that. Very good operation he's got going. He's got different pipe kits that run about $35.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get a rotary tool and cheap files at Harbor Freight for like another $30.
Yeah.
And there you go. And
Highly recommended.
Yeah, making your own pipe is priceless.
Yeah.
So.
Just a reminder about the raffle. Please share on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
episode 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10
Or 10.
by October 31st at midnight.
Yeah.
Make sure that we are tagged in your Facebook share, otherwise we will never know.
Mm-hmm.
And best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show a
Yeah.
few little snippets of our Vegas pipes.
Yeah, Vegas show is November 8th and 9th. You should be there. We're going to show some of that stuff, and then we're going to actually do the raffle on episode 11, which will be aired on November 7th, just before the Vegas show.
Mhm.
So, woot, it'll be a fun weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, ciao.